Hey guys, I'm John, and in this video we're going to find out how ace I think this is. So guys, in this video we're going to be talking about the new Jason Statham movie, Wrath of Man. Now, this film releases here in the UK on July the 23rd. At the time of this video I've been lucky enough to manage to get a stream of it, so I've been able to watch it so I can give you guys my thoughts and a review on whether I think it's worth your time. So let's dive in. So Wrath of Man is a collaboration again with actor Jason Statham and director Guy Ritchie. Now, moving away from some of the stuff they've done before, so with Lock, Stock, Snatch and Revolver, so they've done quite a few films in the past when Guy Ritchie first started out, and that was sort of when Jason Statham first became an actor as well, instead of being an Olympic swimmer. But now he is obviously a big action star, and Guy Ritchie has done some questionable decisions in his directing lately. So we'll sort of won't talk about Aladdin. The last film he did was The Gentleman, which, do you know what, was quite good. It was a bit of a throwback to what he did, and I was hoping that by getting Jason Statham back, that the two were going to get together and deliver something along the lines of Snatch again. Now, Wrath of Man is nothing like Snatch. It is got quite a serious, dark tone overall to the film, and I was quite surprised by it because every Guy Ritchie film always has a bit of swagger to it. It's always got that sort of cockney swagger to it. Wrath of Man didn't at all. It was a very serious film. There's a few little jokes. There's a little light-hearted. The Stath's really sarcastic in it at the beginning, and that plays really well towards his character. But overall, it was nice to see Guy Ritchie step away from what he's familiar doing. It was good to see him sort of to try something new. So the story of Wrath of Man, from the trailers that you do see, as Jason Statham's son gets killed during a heist from an armoured truck. He also gets shot in the process, but he doesn't die. Unfortunately, obviously, as you see in the trailer, his son does. So it's about him trying to find revenge for his son. Okay, so he uses sort of what he knows to try and find out who did it. It all comes about that it could have been a bit of an inside job, so he gets a job in the armoured car depot, and then he sort of tries to investigate while he's there, hopefully not letting on what his true intentions are, and he sort of seems just being the Stath man, just kicking ass and taking names. He just walks up to everybody with a can and goes, "Whoop ass, it's open," and that's just what he's known for, but he does it really well. But in this, he does it with such a stern tone, and it's very sort of to the point. There's hardly any sort of messing about with him. It's just like every shot counts, and it's done really well. And it all sort of builds to one of them feelings of a film where they keep backtracking and showing you. So it introduces you to everything. The film carries on, and then it gets to a point, and then it goes back, and it was like, 5 weeks later and whatever, and then like explains sort of, it'll show you and like focus on a particular character. So a character gets highlighted as to what they were doing at this point in time, and then it'll show you that, and then it'll go back and sort of do sort of real time again, and then we'll go back again, and it'll show you another character and something they've been doing, and then it sort of, you see like the baddies as such in it, and then you sort of got the Stath, and they all sort of go like this, and then they will connect and like just collide, man, like that, like, and it's really good. It's really well filmed. It doesn't detract from it. You're not like, oh, flashbacks. It just sort of flows really nicely, and it was really interesting. But even though you sort of, the Stath isn't exactly a good guy as such from his background or wherever, you really sort of connect with him. I felt a lot of empathy towards him for what he was going through, for his grievance, and I was really rooting for him. I like the film just genuinely put all the favour on his character, and he did it in a really, really, really good way. And I was really sort of rooting for him, and I was like, you know, when you meet like the bad guys, and they come off as like just a bunch of a-holes, man. And so you just like, I can't wait to kill him, or like, oh, I can't wait for a meeting. He's just gonna kick his head in, like. And I was just like, I was really rooting for him, and the film does a great job of sort of conveying that emotion towards the Stath, so that you're on his side, you're in his corner, and you're backing him, and it was really well done how it does. And then it all sort of comes down to like a big sort of climax. The finale is really good. There was a lot of guns blazing at the end. He sort of builds up to that. There's a few gunfights throughout, but then like the end of it is where it just kicks off at the end, sort of thing. But it was done in a real good way. Really good. Really enjoyed the story, and that's the basics of the film. Okay. So, as I said, this is a bit of a step away from Guy Ritchie's traditional sort of feel for a movie. It hasn't got that, like I say, that Cockney swagger to it. It is very, very dramatic, very straight to it. Now, this particular film, Wrath of Man, is a remake of a French film. So it doesn't follow exactly on from the French film. It's obviously got its own little twist to it and that. But it is actually sort of a reboot, remake, rehash, whatever you want to call it. But it is based on a French film. I have not seen the French film, but I just know it's based on one. So it isn't an original story. So maybe that's why it sort of doesn't exactly feel like a Guy Ritchie film, because it isn't solely sort of wrote for by him. It is, like I say, it's taken from something else. But that doesn't sort of take away from the quality of the film. Okay, so overall the visuals are really good in it. Everything's really clear and everything. Some of the cinematography in it was really good. The locations, there's not a great deal of locations, but where it is filmed, it's filmed very well. There's a lot of focus on the Stath, and he is awesome in his role. He really sort of portrays this guy with a broken heart, and in following his journey, the Stath really sort of conveyed a lot through his performance. It was a very minimalistic performance from him in a sense, but it was really good. And he really sort of acted very well in the role he was put in. There wasn't a great deal of sort of other known actors in it. Josh Hartnett was in it, and he was really good, to be honest with you. He played a bit of a weird character, really. But he was really good in it. I haven't seen him in anything for a while, but he was good in it. And Scott Eastwood was excellent in it. Scott Eastwood was really good in it. He was just a psycho in it, man. But he really sort of pulled it off. He was a great bad guy in it. He was really good. Which is weird because like the Stath and Scott Eastwood are both in like Fast 8 together. So, and then they're sort of friends, and then they're not. So it's nice when you see actors acting in different roles together. I sort of like when they do like crossover things. The soundtrack in this film was really good. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The original score, and it was excellent. It was really, really good. It really sort of conveyed a lot of atmosphere and emotion, and it really sort of brought you into that world. And it was just really good. There wasn't a great deal of licensed songs in it. It was all just like the score. But the score overall, I really enjoyed it. It was a very good soundtrack. Really captured sort of the feel of the movie. Now, if I was going to sort of throw some negatives at it, because there were times where the film dragged a little bit. It sort of meandered on slightly towards the middle. The middle was a bit sort of repetitive when like he sort of stayed doing his job, but he seemed to just be there for like ever, as if like he took a new career. And I just felt that sort of dragged on a little bit too long, maybe. It was still interesting, I'm not saying that, but it just didn't capture as well as the rest of it did. when you're just sort of plodding in, you're just like clocking on, do your job, drive around, go back, clock off, go out, and it was a bit like, Now, my biggest gripe with the film overall is the violence in it. So I'm not saying there isn't violence in it, and I'm not saying that there isn't like action in it, but a lot of the deaths for me appeared off screen. So you'd see people fighting, especially towards the end, in the finale. During that part, there was just quite a few scenes where characters died, and like you'd see him like, there's one bit where like somebody gets stabbed, and like you see the knife come up, and then as it goes down, it cuts to the attacker, not the victim, and I was a bit like, And there was a few scenes like that where like you see people get shot, and you just see the person shooting, and you just assume that the other person was dead. There was a lot of things like that in it where I was a bit like, it's sadist in it, you know, a bit of a sick puppy like that, you know. But films now don't generally cut away, and it just took me back a bit. I was a bit like, why? And I just wish that, like I say, the violence was a bit more sort of visceral in a sense, because like this is the kind of film it is, you know what I mean? It was very dark, it was gritty, and then to take that away just didn't sort of fit with it for me. I wanted to see it happen. It was like I say, it was either a cutaway or there was a distant shot. So you'd see the people going together for shoot each other or whatever, and then like the camera pan really far back so you wouldn't see it as such. And then you just see like loads of CG blood flying everywhere, and again that was a bit like, use a squib. But apart from that, that was my only real gripe with it, that I wish it was a little bit more violent in a sense. I mean, you guys out there, you may feel differently, but for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted, you know, a bit more violence in it. But apart from that, the rest of the film I really enjoyed. So guys, to wrap up, would I recommend Wrath of Man? Yeah, I would. Okay, if you like Jason Statham, if you like Guy Ritchie, if you like a good like revenge thriller, it's got sort of a good feel to it, a good tension to it. The atmosphere is really good in it. It's very well acted, and overall, it was a really good film. Like I say, for me, I just wish it was a bit more violent in places, because I'm a weirdo like that. I can't imagine I'm the only one, but you know what I mean? I like a bit of violence in my films. But it was a really good film. I would highly recommend it, guys. If you do get the chance to watch it, let me know what you think. If you've already seen it, tell me what you guys thought of it. If you agree that it's worth a watch. It wasn't the best film out there. It was okay. It wasn't like, say, Guy Ritchie's best film, because I wish he'd sort of put his own little swing on it. I like his little swagger that he puts. But, yeah, it's worth a watch. If you like the Stath, if you like a good revenge thriller, it's worth a watch, guys. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you enjoyed this film, we'll rewind that bit. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like. Subscribe to the channel for more AIDS content. Follow me on Instagram for updates. And with that, guys, I'll catch you later.